Hello everyone. It's Katie here from Abridge Academy, and welcome to today's webinar, which is all about Christmas classroom fun for zero stress. So, how to add some festive sparkle to your online ESL classes this winter. We're going to be talking about lots of fun ideas, things that you can do for zero prep or very minimal prep, whether that's teaching full Christmas themed lessons or just adding a little bit of Christmas magic into your classes. Now I'm going to keep things relatively quick because I know there's lots to get through today and everyone's super excited, and you've also got Christmas stuff to prepare for perhaps yourselves as well. But do let me know in the chat if you're joining us live. Just let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know the audio and everything is all working okay. Always good to know the tech is all fine. And yeah, get excited for today's workshop. I'd also love to hear what your Christmas plans are for your classes this December as well. So if you've got any ideas of what you're already planning on doing for Christmas, if you're planning on celebrating anything with your students, or you've got a really cool activity that you're looking forward to, or you just want to put your Christmas hat on and have some fun, let me know in the chat. I'd love to hear what you're up to. Okay. But as I said, I'm going to jump into things quite quickly, but yeah, I'd love to see everything in the chat as we go. Please do comment, ask questions, all that kind of stuff. So just to give you a quick overview of the plan for today, we're going to be talking about lots of fun Christmas lesson ideas, and that's including full lessons you can do that are themed around Christmas to add a little bit of that festive magic. Other ways of sort of Christmasifying any lesson you've got, but without disrupting your teaching plans. So let's say you're planning on teaching a lesson about, I don't know, sports activities, and you haven't really got time in your teaching timetable in your curriculum plans to add in a specific Christmas theme lesson, but you want to add in a little bit of Christmas magic. These activity ideas will help with that. We're also going to talk about some out of class ideas. This is like homework kind of things you can suggest, or fun ideas you can recommend to your students, and also a few ideas you can also pick up there you might want to enjoy with your own kids if you've got them. Lots of great activity ideas. And finally, I want to talk about how you can run a Christmas party to help you get more students for 2026. Super exciting. So lots to look forward to today. Okay, so you've got Deborah tuning in from Cape Town. Great to see you. Fantastic. Planning to do the Christmas lessons in the last week of this year. Fantastic. Hope you love those lessons. I'm definitely going to be talking about those today as one of the many different ideas to mention. So great to see you. Okay, so now that you've mentioned that, Deborah, I'm going to jump straight into the first suggestion on my list. Hang on, my face is in the way. Let me put my face somewhere over here. Nope, that's still in the way. Okay, I'm just going to make myself a bit smaller so you can see the screen. Should have planned that when I was making these slides. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is if you want to plan a complete lesson all about Christmas, and you know there's a lot of work to prep and make your own lessons, don't panic. Abridge Academy is here to help. So we have some great free Christmas lessons on a wide range of topics that you can check out. I can have a quick look at some of those for you if you'd like to have a look, but honestly, they're free, so just register on the website and you can check them all out and go through, find ones that are most suitable for your students. What I'd really recommend doing, if you would like to use these free lessons, there are, I think it was 9, I have to count. There were quite a lot of choices available at a range of different levels and topics. Pick ones that are most relevant to your students in terms of your students' level and what they're currently learning about. So for example, you can see on the screen here, it's flicking through a few of the examples. This one here says Christmas dinner, and the topic is food. Now, if you've been learning about food or talking about like what are you eating, those kind of phrases, and maybe you've been practicing like role plays to do with going to a restaurant, ordering food, that's what your normal lessons have been about so far recently, then this would be a great one to pick up on because it links into what you're currently teaching. So it's a good opportunity to put into practice stuff they already know, but with a more festive kind of twist. Then we've got one here about writing a letter to Santa. There's a lesson on Christmas traditions around the world. That was more of a sort of traditional reading comprehension type lesson. There's a fun song. I love this one. I wrote the song and it's really exciting and it's wonderful. Your students will love it. Do check it out. That's a great one for the Christmas party idea as well later, by the way. There's one on decorating Christmas trees. It focuses on shapes and different colors. And that's a great one for like beginners level students who are just learning, colors of the rainbow or something. Building a snowman, different parts of the body, so they'll learn like this is the snowman's head, this is his arms, that kind of thing. So again, try and link it in to what you've been doing in your recent lessons, and of course make sure that the lesson is at a suitable level for your students. You can find all of these. I put the link in the description, I think, but it's abridgeacademy.com/seasonal celebrations, or just Google Abridge Academy Christmas lessons and it'll come up. The link should be in the description as well. Let me pop the link in the chat for anyone who's joining us live. As I said, they're totally free, so just sign up, check them out. Hope you enjoy them with your students. Had some really wonderful feedback from these in previous years. So we've got a teacher here who said, thank you for the Christmas lessons. They've been a lifesaver this week when I'm winding down for the season, and the kids have really enjoyed the lessons. Thank you for all the effort. I especially like the music. It's really put me in the Christmas spirit. So yeah, do check those out. Lots of wonderful feedback. I only have space for one on the slide, but there's lots of great comments from teachers in previous years. Okay, so that's idea number one. I know Deborah's already mentioned in the chat she's planning on using those, which is really exciting to see. Thank you. Okay, next thing I want to talk about, as I said, there's a lot to go through today. If you've done any of these ideas, let me know how they went in your classes, by the way. So if you used the lessons yourself in previous years, let me know. I'd love to hear. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is how about you've got to teach a specific topic. Maybe your students, they're not covering something that's relevant to the Christmas lessons, or you're at quite a fast pace in your curriculum plan and you've got stuff to get through. So you can't do a Christmas specific lesson, but you want to add a little bit of Christmas magic to the activities you're already planning as part of your normal teaching plan. Here are a few ideas to do that. So the first suggestion I've got, and that is very straightforward and easy to do, and in fact I'm even doing it right now, is to add a little Christmas themed background. Maybe wear a Santa hat, dress up, get into the festive spirit in terms of your background, your decorations, and your costume. You can do that and then teach any lesson you like, right? This could be a virtual background, which is what I'm using today. It could be that if you want to, decorate physically the environment that you're in, Christmas lights, tinsel, maybe you've got a Christmas tree with baubles and stuff in the background. That kind of thing is a really great way to kind of add a little bit of the Christmas vibe, but without having to directly do Christmas-related activities in class. Okay. The next one I want to talk about is Christmas-themed rewards. Again, the link is in the chat to the seasonal celebrations lessons, and one of the things that we included there, again, this is totally free, are some Christmas-themed reward slides. The way this works is that, let's say you're doing a grammar exercise, right? And they answer the questions all correctly on the quiz, and they get full marks. To celebrate they've got a certain score in a question, or they've answered something correctly, every time they get a point, you can jump over to one of these Christmas reward slides, and they can do the next bit of that activity. So, for example, building a snowman, they drag and drop and move the parts of the snowman together to create the snowman. Similarly, they've got decorating a tree or opening gifts. Every time they get a point in whatever lesson you were going to be teaching anyway, you can then just hop across to the reward slide and they just do one part, like the next bit of that reward. So the next part to the snowman being added, that kind of thing. Again, very easy to do and a great way to add some Christmas sparkle without having to do too much effort. Okay, the next picture I've got here is Wordwall, and I'm actually going to jump across and show you a bit more details on that because I think this is a really, really great resource for teachers. And no matter what you teach or who you teach, Wordwall is fantastic for creating like a whole range of different exercises and games. The great thing is that they all self-mark and all automated. You can have leaderboards and scores for your students so they can compete against each other if you want to. You can do them in class, you can set it for homework. It's fantastic and it's very easy to create these kind of activities on Wordwall. You can create a quiz in about 2 or 3 minutes. And if you're using the Abridge Academy curriculum, there's actually pre-made Wordwall activities available for many of the lessons. You'll find them linked under the lesson, and then you can open it up, within Wordwall. I'm actually going to show you that right now. Let's pick one of my Wordwall activities. Actually, let's go for one you can switch to templates as well. So we've got here kind of matching exercise. Hang on, is the screen sharing? Yep. Okay, so with this matching exercise, the normal default, I've already got it in the Christmas mode. The normal default would have been like the classroom theme or something. So you can see it's practicing past participles in this case, like play, played, paint, painted, right? Where past participle is like having worn instead of I wore. So this is, we use this a lot for, what's the word? Like I have worn something, those kind of tenses. Sorry, my brain words are escaping me today. So yeah, this is a normal quiz, as you see, not very Christmassy, right? But what you can do is if you just scroll down a little bit, I think you might have to be logged into Wordwall to do this. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see lots of different themes under visual style, and you can just change it to one of these other themes. And if you go all the way to the end, they've got one that's called Christmas. And ta-da! Now we have a Christmas themed drag and drop kind of matching activity. And there's a huge range of different kinds of activities you can do, by the way. There's also a winter themed one, which is great if you want one that's slightly less sort of overly festive, but just more about sort of the Christmas season, the winter season in general. And there's also a few others like celebration with balloons, things like that. That's more of a birthday kind of theme. But there's lots of different options you can pick between. Makes it really easy to use. And again, you can do this in like 2 seconds, right? Another thing that's really great with Wordle, and I think you do need to have a paid plan for this feature, is that you can actually switch up the different templates as well. So at the moment, it's a match up activity, so you're matching the words, right? But let's say we want to instead have it as a quiz. So you just click on quiz and it will change it into a quiz. And again, there's different templates. You can change the styling. So let's go back to our Christmas theme. And now you can see we've got the word, and now you need to pick the answer in a quiz. Or maybe you want to do it as a crossword, where they're going to write in the past participle for the relevant verb. So here we're going to click to play, played, and they just type in the words to complete the crossword. So there's a huge range of different activities that you can easily switch these between. And it's a great way if you've got, it's particularly good for grammar exercises or vocab kind of work, where you want to kind of mix things up and basically keep repeating the same kind of words, like you're just drilling the same 10 words, say, but you can do a whole bunch of different activities to practice it, so the kid's not going to get bored with the repetition. You're repeating it in a whole bunch of different ways. Great. Okay. So yeah, that was Wordle. As you can tell, I'm a really big Wordle fan. I'll just have a quick look at the comments. Deborah's asking, you lost me with rewards. Where are they? Present perfect. I knew the word was there in my head. It was like on the tip of my tongue. I was like something present perfect. There we go. It's actually, it's only like 5 p.m. here in the UK, but my brain is switched off for the day. Okay. So the Christmas rewards, if you go to, let me go here, on the Abridge Academy website, if you go to the seasonal celebrations, let me show you from the dashboard. So when you first log into Abridge Academy, you'll need to be logged in to access these, but you can have either a paid membership or a free membership. You'll still get access even on the free tier. Scroll down to the section that's expansion courses. Under beginner, there's seasonal celebrations, or the link in the chat will take you directly to the seasonal celebrations course. And then you find here lessons for December. Also on the left-hand side, you see the menu on the left. You can see all the different kind of seasonal celebrations there are. And you can see in this massive long list, there's one that says Christmas rewards. If you click on Christmas rewards, it'll pop up. And I'm not going to turn the sound on because it's not great with the screen sharing. And here you've got the Christmas rewards template. You can click to make it full screen. It doesn't work very well with the webinar software I'm using right now, so I can't put it in full screen mode, but if you just sort of zoom in, we can see. And then let's say build a snowman or something. You click on the one you want to do, and then every time the student gets an answer correct, in whatever activity you're doing for the main part of your lesson, you could be like, oh, let's add another thing to our snowman. Let's add some eyes. Okay, then you go back to like your grammar quiz or whatever, you do the next question in your grammar exercise. Okay, well done, you got it right. Let's add something else to our snowman. Let's add a mouth, and so on. So each time the student gets a point for something, you can then get them to do the next part of, in this case, it's building a snowman. And they can get a bit creative. There's a pen tool, for example, and they can draw and add stuff as well if they want. So there's a few different reward options. There's also one that's similar for like decorating a Christmas tree. And then there's one that's opening gifts. This is a fixed number. There's only like 5 you can do, but you click and it pops up with a little gift that they've won. Yay, you got a teddy bear, that kind of thing. So it's quite simple, but it's a great way just to, instead of just giving your student a star or a trophy or something, when they get points in your lesson, you can just do the next bit of this fun activity. Even better if it happens to link into what you're learning. So let's say you're learning parts of the body, then this build a snowman one would be particularly relevant, but it doesn't have to be. You can be, you can use it for any kind of lesson that you're doing. Okay. Deborah's also asked, you said you can do Wordwall in a couple of minutes. Lol, I tried it and ended up giving up. Will you try again though? Okay, sorry. I love Wordwall. I think it depends on the questions that you're creating as to how quick and easy it is. If you're using Abridge Academy, you'll find under a lot of the lessons, there'll be Wordwall links in the downloads and links section. So there'll already be pre-made questions. Or in fact, if you go on Wordwall itself, let's go on Wordwall. If you go into the community tab, and then you search here for Abridge, like Abridge Academy, there should be some that start coming up. So, or whatever your topic is. So let's say you're doing what we were looking at earlier, present perfect. You could search for present perfect, and then a whole bunch of present perfect related questions will come up. Obviously, these have been created by other teachers. So you want to double check the quality of the activities. I've sometimes seen the odd grammar mistake or somewhat questionable phrasing every now and then, but you can find pre-made activities like this. So this one is a kind of speaking practice cards, and they're using a spring theme as the default theme. But let's say you want to switch that to the Christmas theme. What I'm saying takes 10 seconds is you're just switching the theme. Right, that's quite easy to do, like this. And then now it's a Christmas theme, right? And it also very quick and easy to change it to a different kind of question, just using the switching template option, like maybe flashcards or something. Actually, that might be the one we just did. Yeah. So you can do a whole bunch of different questions like that. If you're creating your own activity, it depends on the activities, what kind of information you have to put in. But let's say it's, I don't know, gap fill here. You just write out the sentence. I want to go to, I want to see Santa. I don't know. And then you click on the bit you want to be a gap fill. And then you can add some incorrect answers like I would like. Maybe they're going to get mixed up with that when I give, I don't know, pick some different words that are incorrect. You can add a few more like that, and then you created a gap fill relatively quickly. And you can find example sentences if you have a look, like on maybe your lesson slides that you're using, the teaching materials you've got will probably have example sentences for whatever topic you're working on. Or to be honest, go across to something like ChatGPT and ask it to create for you 10 gap fill questions on that topic, and then you've instantly got something to copy paste across if you want to do it that way. So there's lots of different ways of sort of coming up with these, but it's relatively quick, I would say, to create these kind of exercises compared to trying to make lesson slides, for example, from scratch. And as I say, there's already pre-made ones from Abridge Academy. If you search for Abridge Academy, I've made loads of questions linked to the Abridge Academy lessons that you can find that will match up with exactly what you're doing in class. Okay, let me go back to the comments as an answer. I use all your wordable links in the lessons, which I love. That's great to hear. Thank you so much, Deborah. Fantastic. Yeah, they do save a lot of time. The kids have a lot of fun with them. What I also like about Wordwall is you can create like a class. If you've got a whole class of students, let's say you're teaching a group class, you can have like a leaderboard. You can set it as homework and then see how all your students have done. Even if you're doing it live, if you use a set homework thing, you can then get a link to send to the students to do individually, and they get a little kind of leaderboard. You can track how they're doing. Or in fact, if you just are tracking across multiple students in different classes, like you're doing one-on-one classes, but you can still have a little competition between your students as to who's getting the best scores, and there's a leaderboard, and kids love that kind of stuff. A little fun competition. Okay, enough about Wordwall. It's awesome. I love it. Go check it out. The final thing I want to talk about in terms of an easy way to add Christmas sparkle to any lesson at all, will be putting like Christmas twists on different games. So here's a very sort of common example here. Simon Says. You're probably familiar with the game Simon Says. Well, no longer Simon Says. Let's make it Santa Says. And this works particularly well if you've got a Santa hat and you're going to dress up or something along with it. So there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do that. Obviously, it depends very much on whatever activity you're planning on doing anyway for that lesson. But just have a quick think about, the activity you're planning. Can you add a little bit of a festive twist to it without having to really change the activity itself in any significant way? Okay, great. So that was a little way of adding Christmas sparkle to any lesson that you like. Okay, before we get on to the Christmas party ideas, I know everyone loves a good Christmas party, I finally want to kind of discuss a few out-of-class ideas you can do. And this is ideal for homework. It could be things you're going to send your students as like optional extra activities. Or to be honest, a lot of this is great stuff. If you've got your own kids at home and you just want to have a bit of fun over Christmas and a bit of creative sort of stuff to do, these are also great ideas that you can use in that kind of context as well. So Christmas-themed homework ideas, festive books or movies or music recommendations, things like creative projects, crafts, stuff like that. So we've got the pictures here, and actually you'll find the links to these in the Abridge Academy Advent Calendar. Let me click on this and show you. If you go to the Abridge Academy Advent Calendar when it loads, and then click on, I don't know, one of the windows, there's a whole bunch of these like pre-made resources, downloadable templates. I'm trying to think which one's the mega activity pack. I think it was this one, or not, so that was on the lessons. But you'll find links to a lot of these activities in the Abridge Academy Advent Calendar. Downloadable things. freebies and other resources. And these are some great, including some great tasks that you can do as sort of homework things or other kind of activities. Oh, I keep missing them. I've got them regularly spaced out throughout all of this advent calendar. I should have made notes on which windows I've got the worksheet ones. Just as some examples. Oh, here's an example. Kind of, it's more of a lesson actually, this one, but a reading kind of worksheet and example questions. So have a look at the Abridge Academy Advent Calendar to get a whole bunch of pre-made, free downloadable templates and fun games and activities. But these ones are particularly popular. I just put the link in the chat. The link is also in the description, video description, if you want to check that out as well. But let's go back to my pre-made slides that actually were a bit more planned out and have pictures of each of the main ideas I wanted to talk about. So first idea is doing like a Christmas advent calendar. This is, again, it's available behind window 1 of the advent calendar. And essentially it's basically a worksheet you print out. The first page is a colouring in thing with like a picture of Santa and they can colour it in, or there's a Christmas tree one I think as well. There's a few different templates. And then the second page is what you cut out and stick behind it, has got new words that are relevant to Christmas. And you can also edit the template and change it to words that are relevant to whatever topic you're learning, or I don't know, maths questions or something. You can be quite flexible in terms of how you use this advent calendar. But basically the idea is that they color in the front page, they stick it on top of the back page, which lines up perfectly with the windows of the advent calendar. And each day, all they have to do is open each window. They have to cut out the windows before they stick the back on, by the way. They cut out the windows, they open it up, and reveal a new word to learn for that day. So it's a really fun way of sort of practicing vocab or very simple questions and things like that. Then there's like worksheets and things you can do. So let's say you're learning about items of clothing in your lessons. You, instead of just setting a boring worksheet that is label what clothes Sally is wearing, now you can do label what clothes Santa is wearing. So it's just a fun twist on exactly the same kind of worksheet you might have done otherwise. This one I had a lot of fun with, Christmas cookies. This is good for practicing following instructions, imperative verbs, sequencing words, things like that. And it's just something for them to do in their own time. You probably couldn't do this in a lesson because it might take a bit long, but in their own time, you can set them as a little homework task, bake some cookies. Here are some instructions. And again, it's something fun you could also do with your own kids as well. And then I also mentioned here about recommending books, movies, or music recommendations. So there are loads and loads of Christmas-themed kids' books. I've actually got a blog post on the Abridge Academy website. I'm going to see if I can find this. It's linked to in the Advent calendar as well. I've got a blog post that goes through, I think it's 6 different recommended books that are great, particularly for ESL students, linking those particular books to particular vocab or grammar points or things that might link to where your students are at in your lessons. But yeah, Christmas themed books are a really great kind of recommendation. Parents love it because it's something for their kids to do and have fun with English, and it relates to the Christmas kind of season, but it doesn't feel like they're doing a boring worksheet, you know. So that can be a great idea. And then I like kind of creative projects, craft things they can do. If you set them a book or a film to watch, there's a movie review worksheet that's also included in the free advent calendar. Check out the link in the description. And this is just getting them to not only watch kind of movie in English, but they're then going to write a little review, and it guides them through that process of writing a short review. So, and here's an example of a fun craft project. Using coloured paper and labeling it, practicing words for different colours or different shapes. You know, so have a bit of fun with recommending creative projects, recommending books, movies, music, or just making Christmas-themed worksheets that relate to your lesson topic. And again, there are loads and loads of free resources to help with this if you look at the Abridge Academy Advent Calendar. I'd also say as well, if you're someone who's using a tool like Canva, Canva is really great for creating worksheets. In their templates, you can find loads of pre-made Christmas worksheets and Christmas activities and things as well. So you can have a look at those. Okay, just seen a question here from Deborah. Do the parents order the books online or these books on Abridge Academy? No, these books they'd had to buy online. It's just a link to recommended storybooks. I think they're Amazon links, but you can obviously buy them from all kinds of different retailers, depending on where your students are based and what's available to them. But yeah, the recommended books that I've got on that blog post are like just links to where you can purchase them, because other people have written them. So Abridge Academy doesn't own them, so we obviously can't share those books. It's up to you or your students rather, to maybe to purchase those books. But that could be a fun idea, maybe if you wanted to give your students a fun Christmas gift, maybe you can buy one of those books for them and give it to them as a Christmas present. Could be a nice way if you did want to do something that's a bit more of a gift for your students, or maybe as a referral bonus or something like that during the festive season. Could be a fun way of doing things. Okay, great. Okay, and finally, I just want to move on to the final slide, which is looking at how to run a Christmas party for your students. And a Christmas party is a really fun way, not just to celebrate Christmas, but also as a way of getting new students yourself and growing your online independent teaching business. So what you can do is you plan your party, advertise your party, and there's some free templates to help you promote it in the Able Academy Advent Calendar that I've linked below. Free Canva templates to help you promote this Christmas party. They're here, like little Christmas templates and resources that you can use for promoting on various different social media platforms or sending as like an invite to your students directly. Encourage them to share it with their friends, invite their friends to join your party, and perhaps if they bring a friend, they get a free gift or something like that. So this can be a great way of encouraging more students to come into your kind of student network, and then from there they might then decide to purchase classes from you. So there's kind of two ways you can run the party, either as a way of promoting and getting new students, in which case you run it as a free party and you encourage your current students to bring a friend with them to celebrate together. Or you can run it as sort of like a group class, either for free as a way of promoting your group classes, if you want to encourage your current students to also then take group classes with you going forward as a sort of upsell. Or you can just do it as a kind of paid one-off group class program where your students can celebrate and enjoy Christmas things together. Personally, I find with these kind of seasonal events, they work quite well as promotional events in particular. So I tend to use them more as a promotional kind of thing. But yeah, essentially all of the ideas that we've been talking about today can be easily applied to a Christmas party. You can use one of the pre-made Abridge Academy lessons. They're lots of fun, right? They're full of fun and interactive activities, so it's still great to use in a party kind of environment. Maybe you can make a fun quiz on Wordwall and your students can compete against each other to do well in the Christmas quiz. You can use the song, Let It Snow, song, which is specifically designed for ESL students and is very festive. Or you can even use tools like Koala Go. Many of you know I'm a huge fan of Koala Go. Let me see if I can find I've got a link that gives you a free month of Koala Go if you want to check it out to use for your own Christmas party. I'm going to put that in the chat. But with Koala Go, they've got pre-made templates, and this is actually one of the free ones that's just included as one of the default templates you can use within Koala Go, and it's called, I want to say, Winter Classroom, something like that, winter-themed classroom. And as you can see, it already has like a snowman, it's got like snow everywhere, got a very winter kind of vibe, and then you can easily add your lesson activities into the Koala Go playground, or you can just get your students to build and make fun things. You can do role play activities and games. It's a really fun way to have that party kind of environment and make it not feel much like a lesson. So yeah, this one I really love because it's just within Koala Go, their default options. If you look in the Koala Go marketplace, there are also some playgrounds made by other teachers that are Christmas themed. Some are free, some you have to pay for. Some of them have got like actual lesson activities built into them already. Some of them are more just sort of open, flexible templates that you can use in your own way. But yeah, there's lots of options there. I'm a big fan of doing parties and activities in Koala Go. Okay, so yeah, that's a fun idea for a Christmas party. Has anyone ever run a Christmas party before? I'd love to hear how it's gone. Let me know in the chat. I'll have a quick look at any other questions. I did organise today's webinar very last minute, so I know not everyone was able to put aside time to come. No questions? Fantastic. Okay. But yeah, Christmas party, highly recommend. A great way to kind of promote your classes and get new students as well. So yeah, just to wrap up what we've looked at today, I know this is a very quick webinar, at least by my standards anyway, a relatively quick webinar. I just wanted to get through a few quick ideas and share some useful resources for you all really. But let me know in the chat what you're excited to try this Christmas, if you've got any particular plans or lessons you want to use with your students, or if you're just going to have a little bit of fun with dressing up or doing a few of the Wordwall games or something like that in your normal classes. Let me know in the chat. For me personally, I actually did most of the Christmas theme lessons with my students last year, so I'm kind of reluctant to do exactly the same ones with them again. I mean, some of them are now advanced to the next level, they could do slightly different Christmas lessons, but I'm thinking, honestly, they're on quite tight curriculum plans. So I think what I'm going to be doing more of is just like the word wall activities, fun festive backgrounds, that type of stuff with our normal lessons. And maybe a little, with my group classes, we might do more of a Christmas party kind of vibe with those. But yeah, I'm keeping things relatively simple this year. Last year I got very excited, we did all the Christmas lessons. But this year I think I'm going to keep things a little bit quieter. Deborah's saying, just got going and just had 2 students so far. No worries, that's exciting though. So with those students, maybe they'll enjoy some Christmas themed stuff. Maybe they just want to continue their normal lessons, but I do hope they enjoy celebrating a little bit of the festive magic in your classes. Awesome. Okay, so I think that's basically everything from me today. As I say, short and sweet in today's session. Just to remind you guys, do check out the link in the description. I put it in the chat to get your free Christmas lessons, fun activities, templates, all that stuff from Abridge Academy. There's 2 links to check out. There's the link to the seasonal celebrations lessons, and then there's also the link to the Abridge Academy Advent Calendar that's got loads of free resources, templates, marketing related stuff, teaching related stuff, discounts on things, a whole bunch of cool stuff in Advent Calendar. So do have a look at that and check out anything that's useful. I'd also say that in the Advent Calendar, the last row's got more of the resources, and the first row has got more of the kind of more the lesson slides at the beginning, and towards the end there's more like the worksheets and stuff. So have a look through all of the windows because there's great stuff hidden behind each of the doors. And not all of it's going to be relevant to everyone, but I hope you find some of those resources helpful. And yeah, have some fun. Okay, oh, Deborah just put in the chat, I'm going to do building a snowman with my level 3 student. He's learning clothes. Perfect. That's fantastic. Yeah, it's a really great one to do. Building a snowman. And I think there's also one that's on dressing elves. That's to do with different items of clothing as well. You might want to have a look at. That might be slightly, they're level 3. Yeah, level 3 is kind of borderline, I think, for that kind of level. So yeah, they could also check out either building a snowman or the dressing elves lessons. I'm sure they'll love those. Awesome. Okay, well, that's everything from me then. Thank you so much for joining us today. Super excited to hear how your Christmas lessons go. Hope you have a wonderful festive season. And I hope to see you again in the next webinar. It's probably going to be in the new year. If you're an April Academy member, we've got member workshops and stuff continuing the next few weeks, don't worry. But in terms of these webinars, the public webinars, they will be continuing in the new year. So happy Christmas, everyone, and see you next time. Goodbye.